In a universe where ancient traditions collide with advanced technology, Zenia's exile exposes looming secrets that could redefine everything we believe. Are her bonds stronger than the chains that bind her? Discover how one unjust accusation can unravel an entire galaxy's fate. Stay until the end to uncover the explosive truth that challenges every preconceived notion about freedom, justice, and redemption. If you want to dive into real stories of parallel realities every day, in enigmatic, technological worlds that are completely different from our planet, subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Well, let's go. Erendor, a planet enveloped in an ethereal glow, rests on the brink of myth and modernity. This world, bathed in hues of emerald and violet, plays home to the Endorian people, a harmonious society bonded deeply with the natural world yet thriving through advanced technology. Here, under the luminous embrace of two radiant moons, the equilibrium of tradition and innovation forms the very heartbeat of existence. The panoramic landscape of Erendor spreads out like a masterful painting, with towering crystalline structures seamlessly merging with sprawling forests. Each piece of architecture, each leaf and blade of grass, hums with the soft resonance of energy, reflecting the synergy between the Endorians and their environment. Enormous bioluminescent trees punctuate the skyline, their pulsating light harmonizing with the technological grid that crisscrosses the land. This harmony is not merely aesthetic but a symbol of the unity that defines Endorian life. In the heart of this lush paradise, Zenia and her family lead a contented life. Zenia herself, a striking figure with sapphire eyes that seem to capture the essence of Erendor's beauty, stands as a beacon of hope and strength to those around her. Her cascading locks of silvery hair and slender, agile form are reminiscent of the mythical beings found in ancient Endorian lore. Her demeanor, though gentle, carries the unspoken weight of responsibility and wisdom beyond her years. As they prepare for the annual Festival of Renewal, a palpable excitement courses through the air. This festival is not merely a celebration but a reaffirmation of their interconnectedness and cultural heritage. The festival will soon transform the central square into a riot of colors, sounds, and emotions, making it the beating heart of Endorian society, if only for a few days. On the eve of the festival, Zenia stands on the cusp of a life-changing adventure, yet remains blissfully unaware of the trials that lie ahead. Her family is close-knit, composed of individuals who embody the diversity and strength of Endorian society. Her father, Aldar, a stoic man with a chiseled jaw and piercing blue eyes, is a respected elder known for his wisdom. He oversees security within their community and carries the weight of leadership with quiet dignity. Her mother, Leora, a soft-spoken healer, has hair like spun gold and a touch as gentle as a summer breeze. Together, they have taught Zenia the values of their people, grounding her in their traditions while encouraging her sense of wonder and curiosity. Zenia's younger brother, Lysander, with his infectious laughter and boundless energy, is her closest confidant. His eyes, mirroring the deep ocean, hold a spark of mischief, and his unruly dark curls contrast sharply with his sister's silvery locks. While still learning the ways of their people, Lysander looks up to Zenia for guidance and inspiration. Their sibling bond is evident in the ease of their interactions, each understanding the other in a way that words cannot fully convey. The festival's preparations are elaborate and exhilarating, with the entire community coming together in a flurry of activity. Intricate decorations, crafted from bioluminescent materials, adorn the pathways, casting a magical glow that transforms the environment into a dreamscape. The air is filled with the sweet scent of exotic flowers, mingling with the tantalizing aroma of traditional Endorian delicacies being prepared for the feast. The harmonious sounds of ancient songs fill the air as musicians practice their craft, their instruments producing melodies that resonate deep within the hearts of all who listen. These songs, passed down through generations, tell stories of their ancestors' triumphs and tribulations, serving as a reminder of their shared heritage and the enduring spirit of the Endorian people. Zenia, her eyes gleaming with excitement, moves through the preparations with a sense of purpose, her heart swelling with pride for her people and their traditions. As she helps her family put the finishing touches on their contributions to the festival, a sense of foreboding begins to creep into her thoughts, an uneasy feeling that something is amiss. Little does she know that this day, poised on the edge of celebration, will be the catalyst that shatters her serene existence, thrusting her into an odyssey that spans the cosmos. Soon, the joy that dangles like ripe fruit will be plucked away, replaced by an inescapable conflict that will test her spirit and redefine her place in the universe. Stay until the end to discover how this magnificent and epic tale will unfold. The Festival of Renewal begins under a striking sky, as hues of emerald and violet shimmer over the verdant landscape of Erendor. This festival, deeply embedded in Endorian culture, is a time of joy and unity, bringing together the Endorian people in a harmonious celebration of life and nature. It is under these jubilant circumstances that Zenia, with her flowing silver hair adorned with flowers native to her homeland, finds herself amidst the buzzing excitement of the festival. Little does she know, this day will take a dark and unforeseen twist, forever altering the course of her life. As the festival reaches its peak, drums echo through the air, blending with the laughter and songs of the Endorian people. Giant holographic projections illustrate tales of creation and unity, while performers adorned in bioluminescent attire dance gracefully, embodying the spirits of the land. Families and friends gather around elaborately decorated tables, sharing stories and relishing in the diverse array of native cuisine. In the midst of the festivities, an abrupt hush falls over the crowd. The air thickens with tension as members of the Council of Elders, draped in their ceremonial robes, make their way purposefully through the gathering. Tall and imposing, their presence commands immediate attention. They carry themselves with an air of solemnity, their expressions inscrutable behind masks of tradition. The festival goers part respectfully, whispering among themselves as the elders approach Zenia. She is taken aback, eyes widening in confusion and fear. The council does not make public appearances lightly, and when they do, it is often a harbinger of grave news. Zenia's heart races as the head elder, a man with piercing blue eyes and streaks of wisdom etched into his weathered face, steps forward and addresses her directly. Zenia, daughter of Aris and Leora, you are summoned to the Hall of Judgment, he declares, his voice resonating with authority. Zenia's mind races, her thoughts a chaotic whirlwind as she follows the elders, her footsteps heavy with dread. The Hall of Judgment is an imposing structure, a seamless fusion of ancient architecture and advanced holography. The exterior, crafted from crystalline towers, glows with an ethereal light, while intricate carvings narrate the history of the Endorian people. Inside, the hall is grand and meticulously organized, a testament to the civilization's reverence for justice and order. Upon entering, Zenia is greeted by the sight of the council members seated in a semicircle, their faces partially obscured by the glow of holographic screens displaying complex legal documents and ancient symbols. The atmosphere is charged with an almost palpable sense of gravity. Zenia, the head elder, intones, "You stand accused of the ultimate betrayal, conspiring with humans and sharing the sacred secrets of our kind." His words hang in the air, each one a lethal dagger aimed at the very core of her being. Zenia's heart pounds in her chest, her mind struggling to comprehend the enormity of the accusation. The idea of betraying her people is unfathomable to her, an offense she could not even imagine committing. I have done no such thing," she stammers, her voice trembling. "I swear it by the spirits of our ancestors. Please, you must believe me." But her protests fall on deaf ears. The council, their faces a stoic mask of impartiality, remains unmoved. Zenia's pleas for innocence are met with silence, the elders' attention focused on the evidence presented on the holographic displays. One of the elders, a woman with an air of stern resolve, speaks up. The evidence is clear, Zenia. Communications intercepted by our intelligence reveal your interactions with humans. Whether your intentions were noble or not, you have compromised the sanctity of our traditions and endangered our people. Zenia feels the weight of the world crushing down on her. Despair claws at her heart as she realizes that no amount of pleading can change the outcome. Hidden agendas and ulterior motives have tainted the Council's judgment, and she is but a pawn in a larger game she cannot begin to understand. A murmur rises among the assembled spectators, their whispers carrying a mixture of shock, disbelief, and sorrow. Some avert their eyes, unwilling to confront the harsh reality unfolding before them. Others gaze at Zenia with a mixture of pity and anger, their faith in the Council's justice shaken yet reluctantly maintained. The head elder raises his hand, silencing the murmurs and commanding attention. In light of the evidence presented and the seriousness of the offense, we have reached a decision. The finality in his tone sends a shiver down Zenia's spine. You are hereby sentenced to exile on Earth, he pronounces, his voice devoid of mercy. There, you will serve as a slave to those you allegedly aided, until such a time that the Council deems your exile to have served its purpose. The words strike Zenia like a physical blow. The dreamlike vibrancy of Erendor fades, replaced by the stark reality of her fate. Tears well in her eyes as she sees the faces of her family and friends, their expressions a reflection of the turmoil and helplessness she feels inside. The Council members stand, their decision irrevocable. They gesture to the guards, who step forward to escort Zenia out of the hall. The crowd parts once more, but this time, there is no festivity, no joy, only a somber silence that hangs like a shroud over the once lively gathering. As Zenia is led away, the gravity of her situation settles over her like a suffocating blanket. The path ahead is shrouded in uncertainty and fear, the familiar comfort of her home replaced by the harsh and unknown world of Earth. Yet, amidst the despair, a flicker of resilience ignites within her, a spark fueled by the injustice she has endured in the hope that, one day, she might reclaim her freedom and restore her honor. But for now, her future remains a murky and perilous journey, fraught with challenges that will test the very core of her being. And as the festival of renewal continues without her, Zenia's story takes a fateful turn, setting the stage for a clash of cultures and a quest for redemption that will reverberate across the cosmos. The journey through the galaxies was a somber voyage that outstripped the vastness of space with the weight of Zenia's despair. In a capsule devoid of the verdant beauty of Erendor, she felt the cold grip of isolation. The capsule, designed for efficiency rather than comfort, was an amalgamation of quantum alloy and hyperglass, slick and utilitarian. She was restrained within a confinement unit, with sensors that monitored her every movement, ensuring she was securely bound for the entire voyage. The stars streaking past the hyperglass viewport were an indifferent audience to her silent weeping. Her arrival on Earth was marked by a stark transition from the vibrant, twin-moon glow of Erendor to the drab, industrialized scape of a human agricultural settlement. The sky, a washed-out blue, held none of the Endorian resonance of life and renewal. Her landing site was a sprawling farmland, dotted with rusting machinery and earthy fields stretching into the horizon. Here, the air was thick with the scent of tilled soil and tractor fumes, a stark contrast to the floral fragrances of her homeland. Luke, her assigned master, was waiting for her beside a weather-beaten barn, his silhouette stark against the twilight sky. He was a man of about 50, with graying hair and weather-beaten features marked by years of toil under the sun. His blue eyes, though tired, bore a hint of curiosity mixed with a flicker of empathy. He wore simple denim overalls and a plaid shirt, attire well suited to the rigors of farm life. When their eyes first met, Zenia saw not malice, but a conflicted mixture of pity and reluctant acceptance. Luke approached her with care, understanding that she was not only a stranger to this land but also to its very gravity. Her endorian physiology took immediate notice of the stronger gravitational pull, making each step a Herculean effort. Luke extended a hand to her, hesitating not out of fear but uncertainty of how to ease her transition. That small gesture, a symbol of tentative goodwill, was enough to spark a glimmer of resolve within Zenia. Her new quarters, a modest room within Luke's farmhouse, were stark and functional. The wooden walls bore a few framed photographs, depicting bucolic scenes and family memories, far removed from the shimmering holograms of Erendor. The room held a narrow bed, a simple desk, and a window overlooking the fields that would soon become both her sanctuary and prison. Zenia, still grappling with her fate, found no solace in these unfamiliar trappings. Days turned into weeks as Zenia settled into a monotonous routine. Mornings began with the harsh buzz of an alarm, shattering the fragile remnants of sleep. Her duties were numerous: tending to the crops, feeding the livestock, and assisting with repairs on the aging farm equipment. Each task was a physical trial under Earth's heavy gravity, but Zenia approached them with a quiet determination, channeling her despair into productivity. Gardening, an echo of her past life on Erendor, became her refuge. Within the confines of an old greenhouse, overgrown with vines and weeds, she found a semblance of peace. Here, she introduced endorian cultivation techniques, using bioluminescent seeds that glowed softly under the dusk sunlight, infusing an otherworldly beauty into the human soil. Her hands, though calloused from the rough earth, worked with a gentleness that spoke of deeper connections to nature. Luke observed her efforts with growing respect. Initially, his interactions were perfunctory, dictated by the dynamics of master and servant, but small acts of kindness began to bridge that gap. He brought her books about human biology and botany, resources she devoured with both enthusiasm and a sharp mind. Over time, he started to share stories of his own life, losses, victories, dreams. These conversations unfolded like hidden treasures, offering rare moments of true connection. In the quiet evenings, after the sun had dipped below the horizon, they would sit on the porch, sharing the silence that was filled with the sounds of nocturnal life. It was during these moments that Luke would speak of his late wife, of a love that had defined him and a loss that had left him hollow. Zenia, in turn, would speak of Erendor, not the political intrigue or the tribunal's verdict, but the things she missed: the serene glow of the moons, the laughter of her siblings, the festivals of renewal that symbolized unity and rebirth. Their bond deepened, an evolving dynamic of mutual respect and unspoken camaraderie. Luke began to see Zenia not as an alien slave but as a person unfairly cast from her world. This realization gnawed at him, unsettling the remnants of his complicity. There was a night when Luke, emboldened by the gentle caress of twilight, approached Zenia with an earnestness that belied his earlier reservations. He expressed regret for her situation, offering to help her find a way to communicate with her people. To try, somehow, to clear her name. Zenia, though appreciative, hesitated to put her fragile hope in such promises. She had learned the harsh lesson of betrayal, and trust was a luxury she could scarcely afford. Yet, she allowed herself to be moved by his sincerity, by the spark of rebellion that kindled a new hope. In the act of confiding in Luke, she found a sliver of her old strength, allowing herself to dream of more than mere survival. It was during these clandestine conversations that Zenia pieced together the larger tapestry of her predicament. On one particularly clear night, under the pale light of a full moon, Luke revealed an old radio with long-range capabilities, a relic from his days in the resistance movement against oppressive regimes. It represented a tangible link to the cosmos, an iron filament stretching towards the stars, offering a potential lifeline back to Erendor. Zenia, with Luke's guidance, began to restore the device. It was a painstaking process, requiring precise calibration and a deep understanding of quantum frequencies. Her Endorian knowledge, combined with Luke's technical expertise, slowly brought the old contraption back to life. Each crackle of static from the radio's speaker was a pulse of anticipation, a promise of potential liberation. In parallel, she honed her observational skills, keenly aware of the Earth's flora and fauna, learning its rhythms and cycles. This knowledge became pivotal as she explored the ethical contours of her servitude and Luke's role. Their growing partnership was a study in contrasts between the natural harmony she longed for and the industrialized landscape she was learning to navigate. One fateful day, while working in the greenhouse, Zenia encountered an unexpected visitor. A boy no older than 12, with wild dark hair and eyes brimming with raw curiosity. His name was Ethan, Luke's grandson, who had come to stay on the farm following his parents' untimely demise. Ethan, though initially wary, was fascinated by Zenia's exotic appearance and skills. The sun set in a blaze of orange and purple hues, casting long shadows over the sprawling garden where Zenia toiled among the earthy scents and vibrant colors. Here, the tranquility of growing life allowed her to momentarily forget the torment of her exile. The earthy tones of the soil and the fractal symmetry of the leaves whispering in the breeze were reminiscent of her home on Erendor, providing solace in an otherwise alien world. Luke approached, his footsteps soft against the grass, his expression contemplative. He had come to respect and care for Zenia in ways their unequal relationship shouldn't have allowed. The weight of her unjust exile weighed heavily on his conscience. Without a word, he offered her a cup of herbal tea, a small gesture of their growing bond. The steam swirled in the cooling evening air, drawing abstract patterns that seemed to pulse with their shared thoughts. Zenia accepted it, feeling the warmth seep through her fingers, grounding her in this strange reality. Here, in this stolen moment of peace, she felt a semblance of the connection she so deeply missed from Erendor. Night fell, bringing with it the quiet click of insects and the hum of distant human activities. Luke settled on the ground beside Zenia, his gaze distant, lost in the vast tapestry of stars twinkling above. The celestial view was a stark reminder of the vast distances between her and her homeland, now stained by betrayal and ambition. "Zenia," Luke began, his voice a comforting balance of curiosity and concern, "I've been thinking about the accusations against you. Something doesn't add up. There's a depth to your story that neither you nor I fully understand." His words stirred something inside Zenia, a dormant fire rekindled by the hope of vindication. She frowned, hesitating before speaking, her voice barely more than a whisper. The council's decision was swift, too swift. It felt orchestrated, like I was a pawn in a much larger game. Luke nodded, his eyes reflecting the gleam of the stars. "Perhaps it's time we uncovered the truth. Maybe understanding why you were framed is the key to making things right." This idea sparked a new sense of purpose in Zenia, one imbued with the twin drives of justice and survival. Her mind, previously a maelstrom of despair, settled into a current of clarity. In this moment of profound connection, Zenia's path illuminated before her, a journey not just to survive, but to reclaim her honor and expose the rot within the council's ranks. In the following days, Zenia and Luke delved into the dark, tangled web of Erendorian politics. Luke used his connections, tapping into a network of resources that spanned the globe, and Zenia brought her intimate knowledge of her people's ways and the council's hidden agendas. The old study in Luke's home transformed into a makeshift command center. Holographic screens flickered with intercepted communications, ancient Endorian texts, and star charts. Piles of books and datapads cluttered every available surface, chronicling both human and endorian knowledge. The room became a sanctuary of shared intellect and determination, where they pieced together fragments of information like archaeologists uncovering a lost civilization. Each revelation was a deep-rooted pain mingled with a strange sense of validation. Zenia discovered that a faction within the council, influenced by powerful external forces, had orchestrated her downfall to cover up a conspiracy involving the theft of Endorian secrets. This faction sought to exploit these sacred mysteries for personal gain and to stoke fears of human collaboration as a smokescreen for their subterfuge. The more they uncovered, the more Zenia's resolve hardened. The intricate dance of betrayal played out across star systems and eons, revealing the extensive lengths some would go to preserve power. Luke's unwavering support bolstered her determination to confront these hidden forces. Even amidst the tangled trails of deceit, a single truth emerged. Zenia's exile was not an accident but a deliberate act to silence her and prevent the exposure of a greater crime. Luke stared at the latest decoded transmission, his brows furrowed in concentration. This link, it ties high-ranking council members to unsanctioned trade with fringe human corporations. They're selling forbidden knowledge, Zenia. And it's tied back to you. They needed a scapegoat. The realization struck like a thunderbolt. Zenia's hands clenched into fists, her blue glowing eyes narrowing with a mix of anger and determination. I will not let their treachery go unchallenged. They've corrupted our sacred trust, and I will reclaim my honor. Driven by this newfound revelation, Zenia and Luke devised a plan to expose the conspirators. They enlisted the help of a rogue AI, a relic from the early days of advanced cognitive algorithms. This AI, named Lyra, had been decommissioned due to its propensity for ethical reasoning that clashed with the utilitarian directives of its creators. Lyra, housed in an undisclosed, remote location, became the digital architect of their operation, processing vast arrays of data, uncovering patterns, and predicting the moves of their adversaries. Lyra's digital presence felt almost sentient as it communicated with Zenia and Luke, displaying a peculiar blend of clinical detachment and moral fervor. Justice is a fragile construct, it mused through a neural uplink, easily manipulated by those who wield power. But truth, once unleashed, can dismantle even the most resilient of deceptions. Zenia found an unexpected ally in the machine's logic, its binary morality aligning with her quest for righteousness. Together, they planned a transmission that, if successful, would expose the Council's treachery to the entirety of Erendor and beyond. They set a date and time, synchronizing their efforts with a grand celestial event that would ensure maximum visibility and impact. The countdown to this pivotal moment was a test of nerves and convictions. The serene garden, once a sanctuary, now felt like a crucible of impending revolt. Each second ticking towards the transmission was weighted with the potential for liberation or demise. As the fateful evening approached, tensions escalated. Luke and Zenia double-checked every detail, every connection, and every failsafe. The air was electric with anticipation, charged with the gravity of what they were about to unleash. Would Erendor stand as a beacon of justice or crumble under the weight of corruption and betrayal? At the designated moment, Lyra initiated the transmission. Holographic screens across Erendor and connected human worlds flickered to life, broadcasting the damning evidence. Secret dealings, false accusations, and personal vendettas were laid bare for all to see. The truth reverberated across the stars, a cascade of enlightenment shaking the very foundations of the Council's authority. In the immediate aftermath, chaos erupted. The Council struggled to respond, their frantic denials and hasty cover-ups only further incriminating them. Zenia watched from their hidden vantage point, her heart pounding in anticipation and fear. The cold embrace of winter began to thaw as the first signs of spring heralded a season of transformation. Zenia stood at the edge of a pristine meadow in the heart of Earth's countryside, feeling the familiar prick of anticipation and hope. While Erendor seemed but a distant memory, Earth had slowly begun to embed itself into the crevices of her soul. The scars of her past still lingered, yet a subtle strength had begun to flourish within her, one that defied the darkness of her exile. Initially, Earth was a canvas of harsh contrasts. The bustling cities with their steel and glass structures jostled against the gentle sway of rural landscapes, painting a picture of dichotomy. Zenia, who came from the harmonious blend of nature and technology in Erendor, found herself both alienated and fascinated by this world. Yet, as weeks stretched into months, the thrum of Earth's energy started syncing with her own rhythm. Perhaps this planet, so rich in its diversity and contradictions, held lessons that Zenia was meant to learn. The fleet of starships that once loomed as a menacing presence, symbolizing her forced arrival, had become a distant memory like shadows melting in the daylight. Luke's presence, initially an embodiment of her captivity, transformed through time and shared battles into an anchor of stability. Their relationship, once bound by chains of servitude and mistrust, blossomed into a unique kinship forged in the fires of adversity and tempered by mutual respect. Luke's small acts of kindness grew into unwavering pillars of support. He became more than a guardian, he became a collaborator in Zenia's journey of rebirth. The garden they cultivated together became a symbol of this transformation. Each sprout of life that emerged from the rich soil mirrored Zenia's ascent from despair. The garden served as a silent testament to her resilience and their shared hope, an oasis amidst uncertainty. A turning point in their relationship was marked by the construction of a greenhouse. Luke had worked tirelessly, procuring materials and learning about endorian botany from Zenia. Inside, rare plants from Erendor, which Zenia had managed to nurture, flourished under Luke's care and Earth's sunlight. It was a harmonious blend of two worlds, a microcosm of the unity they sought to forge against the backdrop of a fractured galaxy. Amidst their horticultural endeavors, Zenia opened herself to Luke, sharing fragments of her life on Erendor, tales of bioluminescent forests where cephalium flowers lit the night in an ethereal dance, and of the grand festival of renewal, a celebration rich in both mystical tradition and advanced technology. Luke listened with rapt attention, his empathy bridging the gap between their distinct worlds. Through these exchanges, Zenia not only rebuilt a part of her that was lost but also found solace in the understanding between them. Winter faded into memory as the first blooms of spring painted the landscape in soft pastels. One evening, under a canopy of stars, Zenia and Luke found themselves recounting the ancient legends of their respective cultures. For Zenia, these stories were a bittersweet reminder of her past. For Luke, they were a window into the vast, infinite possibilities of the universe. Zenia's revelations about the political intrigue back on Erendor were not just mere narratives but crucial pieces of a larger cosmic puzzle. The machinations of the Council, clouded by deceit and manipulation, slowly came to light. Zenia's exile was a result of a grander scheme, a ploy to consolidate power through the silencing of dissent. This newfound clarity strengthened her resolve, shifting her perspective from victimhood to a determined agent of change. One auspicious dawn, a holographic communication unit buried among her few belongings unexpectedly activated. The shimmering projection was of an Endorian elder, someone from Zenia's past who risked their safety to reach out. The elder's message, laden with urgency and hope, revealed that Zenia's torment had not gone unnoticed. Forces within Erendor, growing weary of the Council's tyranny, were preparing to challenge the corrupted powers. Zenia and Luke deliberated the implications of this transmission under the tranquil night sky. The serenity of their earthly haven contrasted sharply with the looming storm in the galaxy beyond. Yet, Zenia's exhaustion from constant running gave way to a cautious yet burning hope. Perhaps, her exile was more than a punishment, it would be a beacon of resistance. Luke supported her decision unequivocally. Their discussions evolved from the abstract to the practical. Utilizing combined wisdom, they devised plans to aid the rebels back on Erendor. Their garden, once a sanctuary of peace, now also became a hub of strategic planning. Ideas blossomed like the flora around them, each stem carrying a promise of new beginnings. As seasons rolled by, the partnership between Zenia and Luke strengthened further. The trials they faced became threads in the rich tapestry of their shared journey. Zenia's resilience morphed into vigor and purpose, mirrored in the strength and vitality of the garden that thrived under their joint care. Luke's unwavering steadfastness offered balance to Zenia's fiery determination, creating an equilibrium essential for their alliance. One afternoon, while tending to the greenhouse, Zenia paused to marvel at the symphonium plant, a rare species from Erendor that emitted melodious hums under the right conditions. The tones it produced resonated deeply within her, stirring memories and fortifying her spirit. Luke observed her, struck by the profoundness of the moment. In the verdant heartbeat of their sanctuary, they found a shared sense of purpose and belonging. Their bond, transcending the binary lines of master and exile, stood as a powerful testament to the transformative might of understanding and empathy. Through shared trials, they discovered a greater truth. No matter how disparate their origins, the essence of their beings sought connection and harmony. As Erendor continued to orbit in the distant void, its fate intertwined inexorably with Zenia's own newfound resolve. She had evolved from the woman wrongfully exiled into a figure of hope and rebellion. Her journey on Earth had emboldened her spirit and forged a new destiny, one where she would not only seek justice for herself but for all who suffered under the weight of oppression. With a renewed sense of purpose, Zenia looked toward the future, knowing that her path was fraught with challenges yet buoyed by the strength she had gained. Earth's harsh beauty had scoured her raw wounds into resilient scars. These marks were not just reminders of her past pain but symbols of her unyielding spirit, ornaments of her survival and evolution. As they stood together, gazing at the stars, the whispers of the universe seemed to utter secrets only they could decipher. A sense of mysterious anticipation lingered in the air, the feeling that their story, though reaching a significant juncture, was far from over. The legacy that Zenia and Luke would leave was not one of conquest but of unity and resilience. If you liked this story based on real events, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like it. Here you can dive into a different reality every day, where anything can happen. Comment below what kind of story you would like to hear here. Thank you very much for your attention. We are the Sci-Fi family.